What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only QQQ. I'm going to break down what's going on with the chart right now, and also why this week is going to be massive. And by this week I mean next week. It's going to be massive for the stock market because we have so many Fed speakers starting on Monday. Tons of them are coming out, especially on Friday when we have Jerome Powell speaking. So Powell's going to be speaking. A lot of Fed speakers are coming out, and I'm going to break down who these Fed speakers are. What is their history for the markets? How hawkish and dovish do they tend to be? Based off my memories and based off this chart right here, and why this is super, super important for all of us, why you need to watch this carefully and get ready for the Fed to move the markets next week. Before I break anything down about this, though, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things real quick. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Make sure you take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed up to 10 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And the best part is, any could be a free Tesla share. I'm going to be promoting this for just a couple more days, so check it out before they run out. This is one of your last chances. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So anyways, the QQQ had a red day. It got that pump, the final pump. It's about 327, rejecting off the top of this rising wedge before it came down. And the real question is it going to continue to crash, or could we get one more nice rebound, right? And I think this will be dictated by the Fed, of course, but from a technical standpoint, I am expecting a small bounce in the markets. The market's trying to rebound just a little bit. But overall, the bigger move, in my opinion, over the next couple of weeks as we approach June, because of the debt ceiling, the inflationary expectations, potential bank collapses, and other factors like that, I'm anticipating that downside is going to be the much bigger move, and we're going to see this thing start filling a lot of these gaps down here. So let me just show you where some of these gaps are before I talk about this week. Let me just close these extended hours first. Looking at the gaps, there's a gap way down here. I think it's unfilled. I don't know if this was filled completely, around like 321. Another gap is down here around, this is around, what is this, 315, I believe, 315, 316. And then there's another one all the way down around like 311, I believe, around 311, 312. So there are a bunch of gaps below, and I believe it's due to start filling a lot of them. I think the market is overextended, and there is a bearish divergence that is technically still valid looking at the chart. All right, but now let me break down how on earth this may move for next week. Because yes, it's likely going to try to make an attempt to get back up here, but I'm not expecting it to be too massive. I think there's going to be a lot of volatility as the days go on, because we have a ton of Fed speakers. That's going to play a big role in this. We have 4 Fed speakers on Monday. We have Bostic, Kashkari, Barkin, and then Cook. So who are these people? Bostic, from what I remember, let me see if I can zoom into this. Give me one second. Hopefully it's not too blurry. Hopefully you guys can like see this and it's not difficult to see. But Bostic, from my memory, tends to be more on the hawkish side. They're going to be speaking, so this could lead to some downside, right? Kashkari tends to be more like dovish, not too bad. And when I use the words hawkish and dovish, when Fed speakers are hawkish, they're being a lot more restrictive, and that tends to cause the market to go down. When they're being dovish, they tend to be less restrictive. They tend to be less fearful, and that tends to cause the market to go up. Okay, so dovish is green for the markets, hawkish is red for the markets. Okay, so Bostic tends to be more hawkish, Kashkari tends to be more dovish. Uh, Barkin, from my memory, tends to be in the middle, maybe a little bit more on the hawkish side typically. And that's not just based off this chart. I know it was last updated in 2021, but most of these are still consistent. And I remember what they've caused for the markets from my own memories. I know Barkin has caused the market to drop. Cook is going to be speaking after the market closes, so nothing too serious. But there are 2 speakers that are going to be more on the hawkish side, and one a little bit more on the dovish side for Monday. So the odds are favoring that, excuse me, even if the market tries to rebound a bit, we might see a lot of volatility, maybe even some downside. Mester very recently has been more in the middle. Mester has been a little bit in the middle. They're going to be speaking about an hour before the market opens, so it's not going to be as impactful. But like I said, they tend to be more in the middle. Uh, I don't really see it causing as much volatility as like Bostic again. Bostic, who tends to be more hawkish. Okay, he tends to cause the market to come down. They're speaking right before the market opens, just about 35 minutes before the market opens. So that could lead to more downside on Tuesday. Then we have Logan and Williams, and then Bostic again. For Logan and Williams, let me just look at them. I remember Williams causing downside at one point, even though they tend to be more on the dovish side. They're kind of in the middle at this point. They're very close to being 50-50, and that's for Williams. And then finally, we have Logan. I don't know if it shows Logan on this. I'm not sure about what Logan is going to say on this, so that's a mystery to me. I don't have a memory of what he has caused. I'm kind of in the middle as far as Logan goes, but I would assume that they're more in the middle from previous experiences. I just don't have as many like really in-depth memories about them. Then we have Bostic later on, who causes the market to drop typically. So overall, it's pretty mixed, but more in favor of the Hawks. The Hawks so far. For Wednesday, no Fed speakers, but then for Thursday, we have a lot of them. I think we have Jefferson. Oh no, we just have one of them, just Jefferson, and then Barr. Barr and Jefferson have both caused the market to come down very recently, so it's pretty mixed. A little bit more on the hawkish side. So that's going to happen for Thursday. We also have initial jobless claims. Then Friday is going to be the big day. For Friday, at about 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, we have Jerome Powell speaking. When he speaks, the market moves like crazy. Make sure you're ready for this. Now, even though I am leaning more towards the bearish side as we approach Jerome Powell's speech, I think the market is going to pull back pretty significantly by then. I think the QQQ is going to make its way down well below 321, maybe into like the 310s by then. Maybe the bottom of this rising wedge. Maybe we break down and we start filling the gap because of other Fed speakers. But then Jerome Powell could cause anything. Regardless of Jerome Powell, I still think the odds favor downside approaching June. But I'm always open to what Powell could cause. Powell tends to be in the middle, maybe a little bit more on the dovish side typically, but once again, you never know what he's going to say and what he's going to cause. During the latest FOMC meeting, Powell didn't really say anything too huge for the markets. He just didn't announce a pause. So if Powell uses the word pause, the market could still rip up, and that could invalidate a lot of the technical analysis I've been showing you, because technical analysis is typically correct most of the time, but sometimes it can get invalidated by external factors, right? Let's just say, for example, like the market's like so bullish, and then all of a sudden there's an unknown virus that appears out of nowhere. The market could make a big U-turn, and sometimes unexpected things can happen. So with me saying that, I mean, I am more on like the bearish side. I'm seeing it from a technical standpoint and because of the debt ceiling. But if Powell announces like a pause during this meeting, I'm not too sure if he will, but if he does, the market could get a rebound on Friday specifically. If not, if Powell is very hawkish again, or he doesn't really do anything too significant, which I think the odds are favoring, I believe the market could just remain as is and just continue to chop and maybe even continue to downtrend even after Powell speaks. Meaning, I am more bearish as we approach June. There could be one nuance because of Powell. I don't know if we're going to get a spike or not. But besides that, I mean, I don't really see too much going on to cause the market to rally very hard unless Powell says something crazy, which I'm not really seeing. The odds are still heavily favoring the downside. I'm still standing my ground. I'm not really changing on that. All I'm seeing for the charts, though, is a potential rebound on Monday, an attempt to push up, a small one. I don't think it's going to be too massive. I believe the market's in the topping process. And we could see, if the QQQ ends up failing to break out very hard, if it comes down, just continues to chop a bit, there's a possible head and shoulders that could be developing. I'm not really counting on it. But the bigger thing is there's a bearish divergence on the MACD and also on the RSI. It's barely holding the 50 EMA, but the odds are still favoring the downside eventually. It's going to try to bounce, of course, right? It's going to try to bounce. We formed a very tiny bullish divergence right here for us to potentially bounce, but the bigger divergence is more bearish. So that tells me that this thing might try to bounce a little bit, make an attempt up by Monday, maybe even by Monday/Tuesday. Then after that, the odds heavily favor more downside coming. As I mentioned before, a lot of gaps are going to start getting filled as we approach the debt ceiling limits, the deadline, and there's going to be more fear incited by the media. Uh, there's a lot of uncertainty about the situation. I am anticipating more downside to come anyways later on. Now, on the daily chart on the QQQ, I mean, it's been pushing up, but there's a clear, rising wedge that's developing. We could even redraw this end of it. You could even redraw support to look like this, for example. Right? It's getting tighter and tighter overall. Uh, if it continues to pump, it is possible for us to pump a little bit more. I don't know if we're going to break this high. The high may be in, but the bigger move is going to be a rug pull to the downside. That's what I'm seeing on this chart. I think it's extremely likely at this point. I think we're very overextended, and the news cycle, the shift in consumer sentiment, and the Fed speakers may cause a lot of downside earlier during the week. We should react to Powell afterwards. I'm not sure what Powell is going to cause. It could just be a big nothing burger. And then after that, more downside is likely going to continue approaching June because of the debt ceiling. And also during this time of year, that tends to happen, right? Many different factors I mentioned from before, but I'm still keeping my same word. I'm not shifting unless we get some kind of catalyst that causes me to do that. But for now, I'm still in favor of the Bears. I think the Bears will have a bigger edge over the next couple of weeks, and that's what I'm seeing for the Nasdaq and the QQQ and the S&P 500. I will talk more about other tickers tomorrow as I talk about Tesla and Nvidia and etc. But for now, I'm going to end it from here. Thank you all so much for listening. Don't forget I have some merch for you guys around the comment section if you're interested in buying anything. If you want a sweater that says to the moon or a sticker or something like that, it's your choice. Also, don't forget about the Moomoo link. The offer ends in just a couple of weeks. I'm going to be promoting this for just a couple more days. Okay, so thank you for listening. Have a great day. Enjoy your weekend. The market to the moon as the long term is still very bright despite any potential downside for the shorter term and more medium term. And peace out.